there is a mission inside you. There's a reason you're on earth. In your opinion, what is wrong with the world? How is change ever created? It's by people like you and me. Life is supposed to be an adventure. What could be my mission? What could I really dedicate my life to? What could I fucking go for? Like it really means something. What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about your mission on earth. I want to talk about your mission on earth. And I want to ask, because I feel like so many of us live fucking bored out of our minds. And there's other things going on, but it's also like we're fucking bored. Like we are not satisfied with life. We're not sucking the juice out of life, you know, and life is like one big juicy fucking orange, and we're not getting the juice out of it. And what I believe is a big part of that is that we have not selected the mission. We have not discovered the mission that is ours on earth. And we're just kind of floating around. And I say this from experience that I've definitely floated a lot and drifted, as Napoleon Hill says. He says in his book, Outwitting the Devil, he says one of the biggest things that the devil uses to trick you. It's not a religious book, but he uses that as a metaphor. He says one of the biggest things that the devil uses to trick you into being a failure and a miserable person, basically, is to drift around without a sense of direction. So after this video, I would love for you to come out of it and be like, man, okay, so either I know what I want to do, or I don't know, and I'm gonna fucking find out. Because like, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, maybe you don't relate to this, but if you're a guy, you most likely relate to this. The zombie apocalypse. Pretty much all guys, for some reason, we get very excited about the zombie apocalypse. We're like, yeah, fucking, if that happened, even though it'd be like a devastating thing for the human race, right? We're like, yeah, I would fucking love that shit, you know? And why? Why would we love that? Because there'd be a sense of adventure. All of a sudden, our little shitty little meaningless little problems would mean nothing. And we would just be focused, and we would be focused on survival, much like a mission, except the mission there would be survival. And perhaps it doesn't really matter what the mission is, as long as there's a mission, And in the zombie apocalypse, the mission would be survive. And so there's no time to get bored or depressed or whatever when you're on a mission. And so what I would suggest is that there is a mission inside you. There's a reason you're on earth. You weren't just born for fucking nothing, right? You were born for a reason. And your skills and your interests, your natural skills and your interests that come spontaneously to you, things that you don't need to force yourself to think about, read about, or do, those are there for a reason. They're not just like kind of arbitrarily there. They were placed inside you for a reason. And so you can start to connect the dots. You can be like, ask yourself, like, what is something that you would absolutely love to do? What is, in your opinion, what is wrong with the world? Something that you think should change? Because so often we think like, yeah, there are these changes that I think should be made. You know, like education could be a lot better, for example, and things of that nature. But like we think of ourselves as so I don't know about insignificant, but we think of ourselves like we couldn't make a difference. But really, how is change ever created? It's by people like you and me, not by gods who come onto earth and think like, okay, thou shalt have better education, and then it's changed, and we're like, oh, thanks for that, because we couldn't have done that. The only way change is made is from individuals who are not anything special compared to anyone else. They're just human beings. And if we always think, I can't make a change, I can't make a difference, then the result of the human race thinking like that collectively is nothing will change. And all the things that we think really should change won't change. The only way that things will change is if we think, okay, this is meaningful, this is important to me, I want this to change, so I'm going to do what I can. Like, what could I do? What could I do? Because maybe I can't completely transform everything right now overnight, but I can probably do something. I can probably play my part. And sometimes I would assert, sometimes we completely minimize the influence that we can have on the world. And I would say that we absolutely have an impact on the world, and you have an impact that you cannot even calculate. Because as a human being, you're not just one separate little entity. You are a node in a network. You're a node in a network, and the whole human race is like a web. It's like a spider web, and there are nodes all over that network. So if one node starts being like if it's the education thing, for example, and you're like, education needs to change, and you find that really important and meaningful, you don't need to magically transform everything overnight, but you could, I don't know, let's say you enjoy writing. You could start writing articles about it. You could start, if you like to make videos, you can make videos. If you're like whatever it is that's a natural inclination to you, that you enjoy doing, you can use that as an avenue to make the change that you want. And it doesn't need to be like massive. It's kind of like a snowball as well. Like your influence does not need to start on a massive scale. And at the same time, if you start, you could have a massive influence. You could influence a change that you really want to see in the world. But if you think, oh, I'm just like some guy or some girl, and I can't do anything about it, then what's going to be the consequence of that kind of belief and perception? You're not going to do anything. And then that change, maybe it'll change, but in order for it to change, someone just like you, no more special than you, would have to be like, I want this to change. And maybe I'm not going to completely change things overnight, but I can make a difference. I can do something. And so to close this video, I'd like to say, life can be an adventure. And life is supposed to be an adventure. You're here on Earth. This is not some ordinary experience. This is magic that we're in. And so life is an adventure. And if you don't feel currently like life is an adventure, then I would implore you to think, like, what could be my adventure? What could be my mission? What could I really dedicate my life to? What could I fucking go for? Like, it really means something. Like it's the zombie apocalypse, like it's survival, with that level of determination. Because if you find that thing, which you can find that thing if you really want to, and then you go for it, suddenly there's no need for a zombie apocalypse anymore, because you have that level of adventure in your life. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say is if you don't find that life is an adventure now, make your own adventure. Make it. Discover the adventure that's already within you, and then bring it out and fucking do it. Because there's also going to be fear. There's also inevitably going to be fear that is telling you, don't do this. Who are you to do this? What if this happens? What if people think this, etc.? And that's part of the adventure as well. Because what's an adventure without any fear? What's an adventure without any risk? So yeah, we have a choice in life, and we can choose to live like we see many other people live, unsatisfied. Or we can think, what's my adventure? What do I find really meaningful? What is it about the world that I would really, really love to see change? What do I think is wrong with the world? Not in in the sense of, what do I want to see change? What is really meaningful and important that I would love to see changed? And then fucking go for it.